I've known you since school days, and we were actually classmates in primary school. And in high school, I think we were in different sections, but we were elected to the student body council. You were elected the vice president of school, and I was the president. So after school, our paths diverged. You took up commerce, and I did science.
I mean, I do come from a family of lawyers, and so from a very early age, I was exposed to something, but that's not the determining factor. I was exposed to it. I started reading the Constitution of India as early as in my teenage. I loved some of the maxims and the concepts over there, like equality. And I think that's the reason why what motivates people to be lawyers, right?
So you were an accidental corporate
lawyer.
Wow. Okay.
So then after 10 years, I think that's when the VC opportunity came, and that's the next 10 years of my career. So 10 break. Now it's 20 years in the profession. So yeah, next 10 years. And when I started doing VC world, it was fascinating to me from the word go.
So say somebody's starting a startup in India, what kind of signals do you think will make a VC firm take them seriously?
At a very macro level, there are three things that are very important, right? One is, what is this problem that this business is solving? That's very important because there has to be clear articulation, clear thought process on what is it that you're looking to solve.
Right.
Second is, and the third one is, you don't just bet on the horse, you also bet on the jockey.
Yeah.
So the founder.
Yeah.
And on the trekking side, I think, each trek is unique. I love trekking. I love the mountains. But the most memorable one, something I'm really proud of, is Annapurna Circuit.
Oh,
because I'll tell you why.
One founder you admire?
See, that's tough to pick.
One book you would recommend?
I think I'll tell you why I like the book. I like it so much because it's a masterclass in how to manage personalities, strong personalities. And that's a very important skill set for like an in-house lawyers. It's about Abraham Lincoln and about how he converted his most
strong opponents
into his advisors. One advice that I received very early on in life is very important for a lawyer to know when to stop talking.
Hi Amritha, welcome. I've known you since school days, and we were actually classmates in primary school. And in high school, I think we were in different sections, but we were elected to the student body council. You were elected the vice president of school, and I was the president. So I have a lot of memories from those days, organizing activities, events, coordinating with the student body council, working with the principal, Sister Thelma, and the teachers. So after school, our paths diverged. You took up commerce and I did science. So tell me, Amritha, how did you choose law? Because, generally when people end up studying commerce, they take the BCom route and they become CAs or they do an MBA. So what prompted you to take up law in the first place?
First of all, hi. And thanks for inviting me for this podcast. I think it's fun. I have very fond memories from our school as well.
Yes.
Not just, working on projects, but I think even that election, right? I mean, it is
so much hype.
It was such a closely contested kind of...
people tearing the board signboards. Oh my God.
And I was shocked that people could feel so strongly about it back then, right? And people even we didn't know. But yeah, coming back to the question, I think two things, right? I mean, I do come from a family of lawyers, and so from a very early age, I was exposed to something, but that's not the determining factor. I was exposed to it. I started reading the Constitution of India as early as in my teenage. I loved some of the maxims and the concepts over there, like equality. And I think that's the reason why what motivates people to be lawyers, right? And I felt like there was a natural ease to understanding what was there in those books. It came to me very naturally.
Okay.
And I enjoyed it. So then I thought maybe that's what I'd be good at. And that's how I took up law.
Great. So after graduating, you worked at a few law firms. Today, you are the General Counsel at Chirate Ventures, which is a VC firm managing assets of over 1.3 billion?
1.3 billion. In
assets. And so how was your journey, Amritha? Tell us a bit about, you've worked as a law firm partner and then you stepped into the, General Counsel role. Why did you transition into a General Counsel role, firstly? And second, how has this transition been?
Yeah, I think if I look at my journey, even in law school, I'd interned all the 5 years, And I actually wanted to be a litigation lawyer because that came to me very naturally. I felt, like I was saying, constitution, and it depends on your interest as lawyers, right? I mean, the subjects that
So you really like constitutional law?
I love the constitution, yeah. And I really like that area of the law. And I never thought I'd be a deal lawyer one day. It came to me accidentally. So I started my career, I was interning at this particular law firm, and I was doing mostly litigation work. I enjoyed it every day, used to go to court, see things, observe things, help them with research, come up with arguments, all of the things that a litigation lawyer intern should do. Great thing. And then when I graduated, they didn't have a position open at that time, right? And then they sort of referred me to Indus Law. And that's how my journey began as a corporate lawyer. I came to Indus Law, and then then there was some corporate work to do. And
so you were an accidental corporate lawyer.
Corporate lawyer. Okay. So there was some corporate work to do. I started working with, I was just like, look, I'm open to anything, because until you learn, until you work on something and discover something, you don't know whether you enjoy it or not. And you shouldn't take 2 steps behind and say, already come with a, prejudged mindset that I don't like it or I like it, right?
Right.
So I said, okay, let's start doing this. This is new to me. I've never done it before. It's a new area, some new discovery. Maybe I'll learn something. So then I started doing it, and then that, whether you're a litigation lawyer or a corporate lawyer, I think it's a very intense profession. So it takes up a lot of your time, a lot of your commitment, right? So the first 10 years of my career, I spent doing general stuff as a generalist, because I was still trying to discover, I know it's a long time, but I was still trying to discover what is it that I really like, what speaks to me, what is it that I enjoy the most. Because I believe that if you enjoy something, the work will be easier. It just comes to you naturally. The motivation is that much higher. You don't need to find other ways to motivate you. You're self-motivated, and you just want to you'll give it your 100%, right? It's nice. So then after 10 years, I think that's when the VC opportunity came, and that's the next 10 years of my career. So 10 break. Now it's 20 years in the profession. So yeah, next 10 years. And when I started doing VC world, it was fascinating to me from the word go. The innovation, the fact that somebody is spending so much time and energy innovating, coming up with new concepts, new ideas, and then solving a problem one day at a time, right? And there's this whole ecosystem. There's the ecosystem of investors and all of that feed into the system, right? LPs who invest in the investors who then invest in the portfolio companies, and there's this entire cycle that you've built. It was fascinating to be an enabler in that area, to every day see new concepts, new ideas, stay so close to people who are not afraid of big problems, and are looking to solve something every day. That mindset really appealed to me, and I was very proud to be part of that ecosystem. And that's what keeps me going. That gives me a sense of purpose. Now, I moved from, I did a lot of that work, transaction work in law firms, I think for 6 to 7 years before I joined Chirate Ventures. The shift to Chirate Ventures was more organic in that sense, because I think as law firm, you're one step removed from the actual decision makers and value creation, etc. And the role is a little different of law firm versus an in-house counsel, right? And we'll come to that a little later. But I think that proximity to decision-making, to see the next side of it, right? Because you've seen the other side, you worked with founders, you worked with the investment funds, and you assist them as a specialist, as an expert in that area, and you're giving advice in that area, closing transactions, getting deals done, helping this company grow in your own way, right? Guiding them on regulations, etc. Yeah. You come into the internal space, and there you're actually making some decisions as well. You're very much part of, intrinsic part of that decision-making process. Right. So I think that's what is fascinating to me. And it was just, I think it's natural progression.
That brings me to the next question. It's a natural progression to what you were speaking right now. What does being a general counsel in a venture capital firm entail on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, I think it entails a lot of things. It depends on each institution's requirement. I'll speak for Chirate. I think for me, my office sits at an intersection of LP expectations, institutional expectations. And
what do you mean by LP?
LPs in the sense limited partners.
Okay.
So, managing those relationships, closing out that documentation and entire compliance with that on that aspect. Then comes institutional requirements, because we are also in many ways a business, right? And every business has its own business needs, has its own business requirements, so institutional requirements. Then portfolio governance. Most of our funds are SEBI-regulated funds. We invest in companies at an early stage, in regulated sectors. So there's a lot of interface there that happens as well. So, and investment decisions, so all of that, right? So it's a whole gamut of things. And I think what I'm truly proud of at Chirate, I think what's is a distinguishing factor for us and distinct is the fact that we manage a lot of rupee capital, and we are headquartered in India. So in that way, I get to write the script, not just write a script that is deeply rooted in India's regulatory philosophy. and not just follow something that's handed over, in that sense. And that I take a lot of pride in that.
So, Amritha, since we were speaking about what it entails on a day-to-day basis, what you do in a VC firm, right? I was trying to understand at what stage of, evaluating a potential investment do you come into the picture?
See, typically the legal team gets involved once the term sheet is at the term sheet level, once the term sheet is signed and all that. But even when you're evaluating companies in today's world, you need to evaluate it from a regulatory lens and perspective. You need to, it's risk management, right? My job profile is more about risk management, understanding the risk appetite of the institution I work for, and then sort of managing those risks. So even while evaluating companies, sometimes you look at the business model, you look at it from a regulatory lens. So you get involved, I do get involved quite early in that sense, at the evaluation stage itself, but to a very limited extent. And at Chirate, we follow if I want to get involved a little more, there's always room for that.
Right.
Yeah.
Got it. How big is your team, if I may ask?
We're about 35 to 40 people right now.
Really?
Yeah.
You're actually a bigger team. I mean, that's also because I think the nature of work that you guys are doing, right, as a VC firm.
Yeah.
So when you say that you also talk with founders, the potential investments that you're evaluating, do you also provide legal advice to those teams?
We are early stage investors, right? We come in very early. We are the first partners in that sense.
Right.
So naturally, there's a trust that's built also because it's like you start the journey together as partners. That's how we see it, right? And sometimes sectors are highly regulated. Sometimes there's no regulation. So, and most early stage startups struggle with, I think, getting quality legal advice because of costing and other issues. But that's a great opportunity then for the in-house counsel to provide guidance. I don't think we can call ourselves advisors to the startups, but we're always there to guide them in the right direction, point them in the right direction, and give them practical advice on how to set things up. And it helps, it cuts both ways, right? It helps us, it's setting the base correctly, setting the foundation correct. And it helps build trust with the founders as well, so they can reach out to you. And that's a journey, when you start with something and then you see it grow all the way to IPO or whatever, finally the destination, and it's a long, long journey. I think the fact that you build trust early always helps because they always call you, if you're able to build that trust, they'll always call you about something that they're facing, some complex issue. Yeah, it's a beautiful journey in that sense.
So say somebody's starting a startup in India. What kind of signals do you think will make a VC firm take them seriously?
At a very macro level, there are three things that are very important, right? One is, what is this problem that this business is solving? That's very important because there has to be clear articulation, clear thought process on what is it that you're looking to solve.
Right.
Second is that business model sustainable over a period of time?
Right.
And the third one is you don't just bet on the horse, you also bet on the jockey.
Yeah.
So the founder, the quality of founder, the way, the mindset, everything. I mean, I think those are the three main things that people would look at.
So, Amritha, if somebody is not very familiar with the startup ecosystem and they're even trying to understand what is venture capital, what is private equity, how would you differentiate the two, and where in that spectrum would a VC firm like Chirate Ventures be located?
I'll simplify it. I'll oversimplify it.
Right.
So a VC bets on very early ideas sometimes and businesses, right? Very early stage, right? At the time when there's just an idea at that level. That's venture capital. So the risks are high, the rewards are also higher.
So you don't have to show traction, nothing, just that idea stage.
There's an idea stage. So seed investors do that, right? So most of the early stage investors, there's a lot of uncertainty in this line of work, right?
VC.
And VC work. And I think investors, everybody who's part of the ecosystem has to get comfortable with making decisions in that uncertain environment. But at that stage, there's usually an idea, and there's scalability and there's sustainability. That's something that we think will work, right? So that's very early stage. That's VC. P is where you're scaling and building an already kind of sort of established business. So that's late stage, sort of like that. That's the way to look at it. That's a fundamental difference.
Okay.
And the risks are also equally high, and the rewards are also equally
high,
same
right?
thing, yeah.
Correct. So in your experience, Amritha, what have been some of the biggest challenges that you have faced either as a law firm partner or even as a general counsel?
I never look at things as challenges, I look at
like
them.
You never felt unprepared for something or unexpected things happened and you felt like, oh.
Yeah, I think, two things. I think first I'll break it into two, I'll give my answer in two phases. As a law firm partner and an in-house GC, the roles are only different. Like your client is different. What is expected out of you is very different. So your focus is different. For example, in a law firm, you're looking at revenue generation and you're looking at specialized expertise.
Correct.
You need to be a specialist. Whereas on this side, you're a generalist. You're a strategic generalist. So the focus is different.
Yeah.
The role is different. Your client is different. And the value you add is very different, right? So in VC, I think when you come in and when you, like I was saying, it's a very uncertain environment. It's not always that. A lot of my work predominantly is decision making, right? It's taking decisions and with very little or sometimes no information.
Yeah, that was my next question. What do you base these decisions on?
You have to start. One lesson that I've learned being in-house is, on this side of practices, you have to get comfortable with dealing with uncertainty. I think there's a science to apply a little more. It's like thinking slow and fast, and knowing when to think slow, when to think fast, and where to give it some deeper thought, where you can move with sometimes instinct and and you look to solve maybe one problem at a time. So you get more and more familiar with it, you get more and more better at it. But at the core of decision making, I think if you break it down, you have to have clarity in your thought. That's very important. I think that's where there's a lot of fuzz in terms of what you're solving for, why you're solving for it. The how can be figured out. You should be very clear about what and why. Why you're doing this, and what purpose is it solving. I think that if you have clarity of thought, then the decision making eventually, flows from there.
So what do you think some of the qualities that will really help somebody getting into the in-house position or, a VC firm really thrive in that role? Or let me reframe that, right? So when you are expanding your team or growing your team and you're hiring for your team, what are some of the skill set and the qualities that you look for when you're hiring young
I think
folks?
I look for 3 basic things because I feel like those are the basic fundamentals, right? One is integrity. In our line of work, integrity and ethics are everything. It takes like a long time to build your trust and reputation, and you can lose it very quickly if that's missing. So integrity, number 1. Second is intelligence. And by that, I don't mean like high IQ or whatever. It's good to work with high IQ individuals. But I'm saying basic logic, application of mind, and all of that. And third is self-awareness. And that's very important. It's at an individual level, everybody should know. It's good to know what your limitations are, what your strengths are. And to work on your limitations and to convert those. I think my experience has always been like people who are more self-aware, they understand their limitations, so they're able to work. They acknowledge it.
Correct.
First of all. And so they're able to work on it better. And that makes them better professionals or better persons over a period of time. And those 3 things have worked the best for me. Everything else I feel like can be built.
Okay.
You obviously refine yourself over a period of time and all of that, but these are the building blocks in my...
So I've so far interviewed a couple of people, right? Every one of them has their integrity.
I think it's not negotiable in our line of work.
It is, right?
Yeah, because it's like, it's like going to a doctor. If the doctor doesn't tell you the right things or misleads you, you lose trust and you don't want to go back to that person
ever again. Right? And also the stakes are very high, right?
And in-house, you're the custodian of the firm's integrity and ethics in some sense, right?
Yeah.
So your integrity can never be in question.
Yeah. So moving to something which is very interesting for me, Amritha, so it's all about how AI is transforming our lives, how AI is transforming the startup ecosystem. So recently I had, attended the AI Summit in New Delhi. So I got to hear from all kinds of, people from all walks of life. There were these so-called godfathers of modern AI present there, right? Joshua Benju and others.
Yeah.
And there were these folks from Frontier AI Labs, the regulators, policymakers, everybody. So basically, I think it's not hype anymore. We can take that. The shift is happening. So you get a front row ticket, to actually watch how the trends are, shaping things in the startup ecosystem, what's actually happening on ground, right? So do you think the shift is real? I mean, what kind of changes have you seen, say, in the last 12 months or 6 months?
The shift is real.
Yeah.
The shift is real. I mean, there's still some hype around it, but the shift is real. I think if I have to break it down, see broadly the 3 categories of AI, right? There's generative AI, which caused the buzz. That's basically your ChatGPT
and all, Grok.
And that was great because it's a starting phase. Then there's vertical AI, which is going to be for more specialized sectors. And then there is finally agentic AI.
Agentic AI, correct.
Yeah, which is going to operate independently, supposed to operate independently and give like independent results, right? So right now, I think we've seen a lot of this vertical, generative. And in some spaces, we're seeing vertical AI as well. But what will be really interesting, and the growth story will go from there to, what was the third sector?
Agentic AI. Yeah.
I think that will be really, because that will be like AI stepping in and doing independent tasks and things like that. I think that will be very exciting to watch. But it's happening. I mean, the shift is happening, and it's already started here. It's only going to scale up. That's the way I see it.
You know, sometimes when I read about these, right, it's almost anxiety inducing because things are changing like in 3 month cycles. It's not even like 2 years, 3 years cycle anymore. We're talking about 3 months, 6 months. And it's like, oh, we're already late for this. You're already late for that. But there's also some people who are saying, hey, you're right at the cusp. Make the best use of this time, right? People are comparing it to the internet boom, but this is like much more sort of potent.
Yeah.
And it's like you have the opportunity to do something really big. So make use of it. That's the kind of thing that's coming out, right? So another question, Amritha, I'm very curious to know, how is AI impacting the legal field, right? Are there any sort of legal tech or AI tools that you're specifically using for your legal work that you think, hey, this has potential, this is really different from the old clunky, you know, software, which was making our lives actually miserable, not easier? So.
Yeah, I think two things, right? For us, the way we are structured, we actually outsource most of the execution. We are a very lean team.
Okay.
We don't do most of the execution in-house. We do more strategic thinking and more the in-house compliance. Yes, decision making, the compliance, and sometimes there are also mundane tasks. That's where I feel like AI is the most useful.
Correct.
And at my level, it's like I said, it's mostly judgment calls and decision making. But there is a whole lot of, sometimes, you know, when you move in-house, sometimes because you're so away from execution, sometimes things don't. So back then, you were an encyclopedia of all the laws and regulations. You would know at the back of your hand, this is this. So I also like you know, a basic, like a good search engine. I mean, like a Chat GPT or, you know, even a Claude.
For basically the
research portion of it. Sometimes
for
you want
case
to just,
law and even maybe
you want to see what is new, what's happening. Or you want to do some research on whatever, so that, because sometimes while you can make judgment calls based on, like I said, slow and long thinking, but you also have to look up precedents. You have to look up how many times has it happened in the industry.
Correct.
Are these frequent things? So in all of that, I think AI has been very useful for me.
It has.
It has.
No issues of hallucinations?
There have been, but it only gets better and better and better.
That's true.
It only gets, I mean, I think you have to spend, like I'm talking generative, right? So that's...
See, I'm talking about ChatGPT or even Grok, right? 6 months ago, there was somewhere else. Today, there's somewhere else. I mean, and the improvement is massive.
Massive.
Yeah.
The quality is also, I mean, I think the more you start using it, you also get you also understand the AI better. So you're able to give better prompts.
Correct.
You're able to fine tune your, articulate your thoughts better, the way it'll probably understand and get the output out of it, right? So I think all of that is very, very useful. And then there's some tasks that I honestly feel that AI can be very useful with all of those tasks, right? I mean, you can automate a lot of these processes, some of the processes. I feel that's where AI has added value, because you can use that time instead for something else.
Agentic AI will be really useful.
Really useful.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to, I think we haven't reached in the legal field. Of course, for the law firm people, I think they still, like some of the tools that they use is agentic AI. It started off as generative and then moved to agentic now. But for in-house, yet to see that. And that'll be true value addition.
So there's no particular AI tool that the team is using right now?
We have the more generic versions, nothing specialized.
Right.
Because I think it's a specific need.
I'm trying to understand, you know, because since there's a lot of hype around AI is transforming this and that, I'm trying to see what is happening on the ground, you know, practically how much are lawyers actually utilizing things? Where is the need? Where is the gap?
I think from my conversations with law firms, because they help us time and again.
So they do have tools?
They do.
Okay.
Yeah, and they declare it upfront, right? Because that's ethics now. Again, that's good
they
ethics.
They have to be transparent.
So they tell you about what they're using, and I've tested some of them out of curiosity.
It's good.
Yeah, I mean, like, imagine diligence reports. Who would have thought that that's even like, you know, like...
What are these tools? I want to know.
I mean, I've heard mostly people using Harvey, or Legora.
Legora as well, right?
Legora as well is very common with all of these law firms. And some of the things they're able to get that those tools to do is phenomenal. I feel like you waste so much time that you can... Not waste, but you invest so much time that the time can be cut in half.
I really want to see them in action. Like, I want to use them and see how good they are.
But all of them have said consistently that although they're using all of this, there's also somebody who's looking at...
You need a human in the loop.
I think because, you know, that line of work works on precision.
Correct.
You cannot give something
95% accuracy.
It's not okay in that line of work. So that line of work works in precision. And I also think other than for corporate lawyers, even for litigation, it's like a huge thing, right? It can give you insights. I mean, the kind of research you do.
Even drafting, it can start helping you with drafting.
Drafting, figuring out the strategy.
Keeping track of things.
Yeah, because and your strategy is also depending on data, right?
Yeah,
You know, if you're appearing before a particular judge, how many times has that judge passed these kind of orders, etc. You spend a lot of time studying and doing all of that, right? Because the law is not just the law; it's also about humans.
A lot of things around it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's mostly about studying the subject.
Correct.
Whichever side of the table you're a litigation lawyer or you're a corporate lawyer. If you don't know or you're not able to understand the person
who you're dealing with or who you're presenting your case, correct.
So that's
true.
I feel it can help you with all of those insights because that's all data that's there. You just need to then build on it and get insights.
So those were very insightful, Amritha. Thanks for that. So let's move to something personal. Since I follow you on Instagram, I know you are a travel buff. You really love traveling. You're also into trekking. Yeah. So share some of your, memorable travel experiences, something to highlight, something that has stayed with you.
Yeah. I think I first started traveling, the most memorable, I mean, everything is like, every city, every place offers a new thing, but the most memorable thing for me would be my first solo trip. It was Turkey.
No, I've still not been there.
And it's a phenomenal place. The landscapes change from one place to another.
Yeah, it looks like it has everything, right?
It has everything. And surreal landscapes, right? It has, I mean, there's a place like Cappadocia, which it's surrounded by volcanoes. The entire landscape is shaped by volcanoes. Then there's Pamukkale. There's so much history. Like it's the connector
Constantinople.
Between... Yeah. And then if you're a history buff and you...
East and West.
Read about basically connecting East and West, right? So that place has seen so much history. And if you read about the Ottomans and why they were so obsessed with that place, and then you know exactly, right? And then there's the Bosphorus and you can see Asia and Europe. And it was mind-blowing. And it was also, I think it was also memorable because of the experience I had in the place. So some parts of Turkey also, you have to be familiar with Turkish in that sense. And as a solo traveler, first time, rookie traveler, you tend to you're just exploring and you're not covered for everything. You're not thought of every single thing, right? But to be able to manage and to be able to maneuver that phase and still make some very good friends over there, I think that was a great experience.
Awesome.
And on the trekking side, I think, each trek is unique. I mean, I love trekking. I love the mountains. It's, but the most memorable one, something I'm really proud of is Annapurna Circuit.
Oh,
because I'll tell you why, even compared to Everest and everything, you can never compare these two places, first of all, but Annapurna is fully like this. It really takes a toll on your legs. You know? It tests your physical fitness and your mental stamina. Right? And how you're able to the trees all the way up, unlike Everest, which is more like bald and dry, and there are different challenges over there, but it's more like that rather than fully up. But I'm particularly proud of Annapurna. I think it was the first trek where one leg became entirely numb, but I mean it's never happened to me on any trek, but that shows that how much you put your leg through probably. Yeah, but I'm particularly proud of that one.
What kind of preparations do you do for this?
Yeah, I think I started my trekking some 10 years ago now. It's been 10 years since I've been trekking.
What organizations in Bangalore do you go to?
No, I always take, I have I have a guide in Nepal, I have one in Bhutan, I have one in different places in India.
How did you figure these folks?
I think the first trek I did was a group trek. And it didn't work for me because you have to keep pace with it's also about how you perceive that trek, right? What is it that you're hoping to... I enjoy it at my own pace. I want the freedom to, take a stop, whenever I want to. Or some days I'm so excited I'll be really fast, right? And I like it when the guide also is equally invested. They study the terrain, they tell you in advance what you should do, what you should not do. And they let you, they kind of customize the entire program around you. Whereas in group, you have to customize it around whatever is the general average preference of the group, right? So I tend to enjoy solo travels for that reason solo treks for that reason much better. And what was the question again?
No, I think it was just about how do you prepare for these and how do you find these guides?
The guides, I think I do a lot of research, speak to them.
Are they recommendations from friends and folks?
There are,
right?
Because you're part
Safety
of
is a huge thing,
different trekking groups.
Yeah.
And if you trust somebody, then you go by the recommendation. But I also feel I always have the conversation with these people first. And you should pick, because sometimes it's your life depends on the guide. You know?
Exactly, yeah.
The way they sort of give you instructions, the way they mentor you in that sense, the way they ask you to be aware of things.
So this Annapurna, was that a group trek or a...
Solo.
Really?
Solo. Yeah.
Oh my
my
God.
guide and myself. There was just two of us. We went to different terrains and...
How long was it?
It was 15 days because it's a circuit.
Oh
it's not
goodness.
Just base camp.
Okay.
You start at different things. And to answer your question on what, I started 10 years earlier. I was much younger then. It didn't take a lot. I used to just walk and not even focus on strength training, etc. Today, I strength train, and that's been a game changer for me. I don't overdo it. I maybe do it 2 times a week, 3 times a week. But even that investment consistently over a period of time. I mean, I've never had a trek after Annapurna because when I came back and I saw that my leg was feeling numb, I decided I should do something about it. And then I started strength training and I've never had that episode ever again. So I generally feel the endurance levels have gone up.
Strength training.
Yeah, it's really helped. And it's not, it's easy to do. You can do it at home. Today, you have access to so many things, but that's the basic. And eating well, I think.
Makes
what you eat,
difference.
Yeah, it really shows. It really shows.
So I've been wanting to get into strength training for a long time, but I have a fracture in my left hand. So I actually have titanium rod in my left hand. So I need to be a little bit careful. Otherwise, I would have gone into it big time. But I still do kettlebells, like 10 kg, around that. Even that, I've seen if I've left, the kettlebells for a week or two, I can feel the difference in the body.
But this drops very easily.
Yeah.
I mean, it's about consistency is the name of the game.
True.
I think you have to remain disciplined. You have to remain consistent. And there's no point picking it up like, maybe if you pick it up 6 months in advance, fine, it still becomes a habit. But just before the trek,
that may not.
I think a consistent approach, I've seen the benefits of it.
At least 2 months or a month?
I do it year round. I mean, it's part of my DNA now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's usually the first 6 months it gets a little intense because you'll usually plan your trek in May, June, April, summer.
Yeah.
And things like that. The next half of the year, you take it a little easy, but I've just built it as a discipline. I mean, I'm just like, I do it 2 times in a week. It's not much. If I can't take out time 2 times in a week or 3 times in a week, I think that's speaking a lot about how I'm managing my time. But it's just become my DNA. I enjoy it.
Right.
Enjoy it. And I think it has a lot of other benefits, including...
Definitely.
Yeah, so it solves a lot of problems.
Right. So let's move to your next question. I know you're a massive tennis buff as well.
Yeah.
So I see those pictures on Instagram. And so mostly as a watcher or somebody who plays it regularly?
I used to play it one time. I don't play regularly a lot these days, not because I don't enjoy it. I enjoy that sport. The reason is, commitment in terms of time. Everything needs commitment, dedication, time.
Yeah, consistency.
Right? Consistency and time, right? And now I've trekking and I have fitness and I have a job, and then also you have your personal commitment. So that's a lot for a person. So these days I watch a lot. But yeah, I think I enjoy playing it, and hopefully, next 6 months of the year, maybe I was thinking about it. I was planning that way. I mean, the first 6 months you can focus on a lot of for the trek, and you should be really dialed in and all of that. But the next 6 months, you have the time to pick up a sport.
So do you usually do at least 1 trek a year or more than that?
1 trek.
1 trek a year, right? Okay. Any favorite tennis players?
Yes. I think I love Billie Jean King, not just for her game, but for what she's achieved for the profession. I mean, she was the first one to bring equal pay, to even rally for it, get the support, get it done, right? I like the Williams sisters.
Yes,
inspiring in their own ways.
Definitely, yeah.
Rafa is my all-time favorite.
Rafa? Okay.
And Stan Wawrinka. I like so many players, but I think I'll...
Not Djokovic, I'm surprised.
I like him. I mean, there's a lot to learn from him.
I think he's defined, physical limits.
He's a problem solver of tennis. I feel like sports really help you. It helps you get some perspective in that sense.
The only reason why I'm laughing is because I was pretty much good at everything in school. The one thing I really sucked at was sports.
But that's okay. I mean, if you enjoy it, I think it's something that it's worth picking up because it changes your perspective on a lot of things.
But I love working out. Like I need to do my an hour or 2 walk. So those are things. So physically, I'm very active. Also into dance and all of that. Not these days. Early in my life, but somehow sports never caught on. My sister exceptional in sports, right? But I was pathetic when it came to sports.
I think people should do what comes to them naturally, what they enjoy.
Right. So, Amritha, we've come to the end of the conversation. We're moving to the rapid fire round now. And let's start with short, crisp answers. Okay.
Sure.
Don't take too much time.
Yes.
1 app you can't do without.
Google Maps. I like to know where I'm going.
Yeah. Google Maps has always been very useful. It actually, I think, is redefined the way we travel, right? Yeah. 1 city you always want to go back to?
Java.
Java, okay.
Yeah, because it's nature at its best.
Okay.
It's a city. It has a city life. But then you go towards east side, you see the volcanoes, you see the caves, you see the waterfalls. It's surreal.
Okay. I think it's an underrated gem.
I did some 3 volcanic climbs there, and the views that I saw from top, I mean, it's amazing.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
A startup sector you are excited about right now?
Yeah, in health tech, I think.
Health tech?
Yeah.
Okay. I have some questions on that. But
health tech and fintech,
outside.
both. But
Fintech,
yeah.
okay, as well. One founder you admire?
See, that's tough to pick, but what I'll do is, because
you can pick from different generations, you can pick across sectors, whatever works.
I have a philosophy around this, and this is not a rapid, it won't be as rapid an answer, but I feel like there's consistently a quality in all these founders that stands out that I admire the most. It's less about the person, it's more about the quality and that quality is the ability to make clear decisions amidst uncertainty, anxiety, fears, and doubts, because this is the startup industry is full of that. Even in the VC side, every business is going through all of that. But the ability to separate that, the emotional discipline it takes to separate that and still take decisions and clear decisions, I think that is that's a quality I admire the most in most of these founders.
But so you don't want to take the names?
So many.
Dream dinner guest?
Charlie Munger.
Wow.
He's not around, but for his brutal honesty and the mental models and everything,
definitely.
I would love to. Yeah.
One book you would recommend?
A Team of Rivals. I think I'll tell you why I like the book. I like it so much because it's a masterclass in how to manage personalities, strong personalities, and that's a very important skill set for like an in-house lawyer, without losing direction, right? Because everybody's going to have a strong view, and somewhere you've got to take a decision. It's about Abraham Lincoln and about how he converted his most
strong opponents
into his advisors.
Oh, I need to read this book then.
That's masterclass. And I'm fascinated by the book. I go back to it every once in a while.
Okay.
But I think there's a lot to learn from that book.
Great. One lesson venture capital has taught you about life?
One life lesson venture capital has taught me.
Yeah.
I think I'll quote Beckett here because it's very profound. His quote goes something like this. It says, "Ever tried, ever failed, try again, fail again, fail better." I think that defines venture capital because it's about staying long enough to make it work.
Right. One thing you learned the hard way as a lawyer?
Hard way, I was a good learner. Let me say that.
So no hard knocks. You were a smart learner.
Yeah, I was a smart learner. One advice that I received very early on in life is very important for a lawyer to know when to stop talking.
In life as well.
In life as well, and as a lawyer as well.
I've learned that the hard way, but yes.
I was very lucky that way to get that advice very early on. It takes some practice to practice it, and then you're there.
So I've been very good following that advice as a lawyer, but in life, I had to learn it the hard way. So yes. A place still on your travel bucket list?
Patagonia.
Okay. One piece of advice for everyone listening today?
I think invest in the growth mindset because you should be ruthless about discarding or distancing yourself from things that hold you back and focus on your strength and build on it. That's in life, in professionally, everywhere. I think it's important to grow.
If not a lawyer, what would you be?
A professional tennis player.
Awesome. So we have come to the end of the conversation, Amritha. It was a pleasure talking to you. It was great to listen to you, your insights, your journey, your experiences. So thank you so much for coming on the show, and I wish you the very best in your future endeavors.
Thank you. I enjoyed the conversation too. Thanks for inviting me.
Thanks.